I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Raditz.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Here.
Councilmember Lasky.
Here.
Mayor Sullivan.
Here.
Councilmember Keck.
Here.
Councilmember Grabowski.
Here.
Councilmember Ruzga.
Here.
City Manager.
Here.
City Attorney. Here. DPW Director.
Here.
Finance Director.
Here.
Community Development Director.
Here.
Police Chief.
Here.
Fire Chief.
Here.
City Engineer.
Here.
Roll call complete.
You. Citizens comment on agenda-related items. Any citizens with correspondence to be distributed to City Council should provide items to City Clerk prior to the start of the meeting or after the meeting has adjourned, limited to 5 minutes. Anybody? Okay. Consent agenda. All items marked with an asterisk are considered to be by the city manager to be routine matters prior to approval. Any member of council may have an item removed and taken up during the regular portion of the meeting. Items include approval of minutes, cash balances, revenue and expenses, balance sheet, consideration of correcting the rules governing the Manistee, Michigan Downtown Development Authority, consideration of Manistee Creative Alliance holding the Red fundraiser on June 22nd, 2025. At this time, council will take action to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
A second.
I have,
Any
Oop.
discussion?
I do have a quick question on item 90,
Okay.
the DDA. I don't know if you'd like to remove it or address it right now.
We're in discussion, so if you want to have a discussion about it.
Okay, when I read over the bylaws change, the first two corrections show CEO, which I guess is the city manager, but through the other parts of the document, it refers to city manager. So I guess I'm wondering if, while we're correcting it, why we don't consistently say city manager.
That's a potential change. I think that would be something the DDA could propose. This particular item is just to put in the corrections that the DDA authorized, but they were put into the previous version. So that's something they could take into under advisement the next time they amend it or request a change in the bylaws. Typically, it goes through the DDA, then to us for approval. It could potentially have council just approving something like that, but I think it'd be something that you could advise them to look at, and then they could bring it next time.
Could we do that then?
Have them look at it, is what
Yes.
you're saying?
Yeah.
Do you, I don't know, do you want that, what, do you want her to make a motion? We need to vote on this first.
Okay. So do you want to, okay, do you want to remove it and then have that brought up in separate discussion, and then it would be something that council would have to act on separately? Or it could just be taken under advisement to bring up to the DDA if they wanted to
I
make.
was going to say, can we just have it corrected for future? Will it make any difference on what we're voting for now?
It's just change the bylaws. I'd have to look at specifically where are you talking about the change?
It's right at the beginning.
Needs to be changed. I mean, are you the chief executive officer?
And it's in red. It was only in two places. And I guess maybe Andrew could tell me what he'd prefer to do. I guess while we're correcting
Yeah, so just to give some more context to everybody, there was an amendment to the bylaws made in 2019 that had the verb changed from the mayor being on the DDA board to the city manager being on the DDA board. The bylaws were amended again in 2024. And Heather noticed that the 2024 bylaw amendment did not incorporate the 2019 amendment due to the 2019 amendment never actually being fully integrated into the DDA due to a transition in DDA director. So yeah, we could definitely look at just getting consistency. I think it probably makes more sense to just have it go to the DDA board, let them have that vote. But I think now this is just correct, making sure that the 2019 and 2024 ones are consistent.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think pass this and then come back to the DDA with a recommendation saying, let's make this consistent. I don't think we'd have a problem with
Sounds good
making
to
that
me.
consistent. Yep.
Perfect.
Good, thank you.
Good. Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Raditz.
Yes?
Mayor Pro Tem Smith. Councilmember Lasky.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Keck.
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Ruzga.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Unfinished business, we have none. New business, we're going to change a few things around here. Chief Glass is going to present to Officer Rochelle and retired Officer Shands.
Good evening, Mayor Sullivan and members of council. I appreciate the opportunity. I know we have a busy agenda and some presentations, so I'll be as concise as I can. Again, I think it's important when our officers, our employees do amazing things that they acknowledge. So I appreciate the opportunity to publicly acknowledge that. On May 5th, Officers Rochelle and Officer Shands were dispatched to the US 31 bridge for a subject who was sitting on the handrail straddling the bridge. Officers responded and began a conversation with the subject. During the conversation, our officers remained calm, professional, in the face of a dangerous situation. As the officers spoke with this individual, that individual communicated their intent to jump. Officers remaining calm capitalized on a window of opportunity as the subject looked away, and they were able to grab this individual and safely pull them down onto the sidewalk, ultimately thwarting a potential significant event. So Officer Rochelle, Officer Shands, their bravery, keen awareness, and dedication to helping others exemplifies the highest standards of the Manistee City Police Department. So based on that information, I'd like to issue Officer Rochelle and recently retired Officer Shands, who's outside, the citation for life-saving award. So, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Chief Glass, do you want me to wait on this resolution? Okay, no problem. Okay, introduction of Brooke Lee, the utility biller and accounts receivable clerk. Hello. It's me.
I guess congratulations.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Tell us a little about yourself.
Grew up,
We just like to throw people up here.
okay, that's okay.
Wing it.
Grew up in Manistee, born and raised. My dad was a fireman for 42 years here. Graduated from Michigan Tech and was an engineer for General Motors. Came back to the area when my mom developed Alzheimer's. So we were intending to retire here, but got here a little early. So been back about 11 years and happy to be working in the same city that I'm living in. So, yeah.
We're thrilled to have her.
Welcome.
Thank you.
All right.
Welcome.
All right.
Okay, consideration of approving contract with the Michigan Department of Transportation to receive a small urban grant. The city has applied for and received a $385,000 small urban grant from the Michigan Department of Transportation, MDOT. The scope of the work includes water main improvements along with milling the existing asphalt and paving new hot mix asphalt along Washington Street from Fifth Avenue to Veterans Oak Grove Drive. The project construction estimates include $1,197,780 local match in addition to engineering fees. At this time, council could take action to approve the resolution and contract with MDOT Control Section STUL 51000, job number 214714 CON, contract number 25A0597, and authorize the street administrator and the city clerk to execute the agreement. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to
there a
accept the
second?
grant.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Well, when will this start? Just a little bit more about it. And then what's our city, what exactly, how much are we putting into it? I think they stated that, but let's,
Well, I don't have that. You'd have to do the math on that. I can do it real quick. It's approaching $750,000, $800,000 local money. We had planned, the small urban process gives us the ability to apply for that money every 4 years. So 4 years in advance, we try to pick out a major street that's eligible for the project. The last one we did was 12th Street from Maple Street to US 31. We had intended to have this completed within the next 2 weeks and build it during the spring. However, going through the state processes and some of the reviews just drew it way out. So MDOT's actually bidding this through their monthly state bidding process. It's called letting. So we'll get bids on it Friday, and then hopefully we get good bids and the state will be able to award that. But construction should begin sometime in August and be completed by October.
Good, so before we get the other MDOT, the highway done?
Yes, it'll be this
Good.
year.
Okay.
Yep. Any other questions?
Thank you. Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Raddatz.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Lasky.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Keck.
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Ruzga.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Consideration of ordinance 25-04 to amend Chapter 1040 Combined Water Supply and Sewage Disposal System of the City of Manistee, Michigan Codified Ordinances. The city staff and the city attorney reviewed Chapter 1040 Combined Water Supply and Sewage Disposal System and suggested some needed changes. The Council Ordinance Committee met on May 21st, 2025, reviewed and recommended the changes. As an ordinance, 2 separate readings are required. If this ordinance is introduced at this time, it could be adopted at the next regular meeting. At this time, council could take action to introduce ordinance 25-04, amending Chapter 1040 Combined Water Supply and Sewage Disposal System. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Can we get some idea of why we're combining these two?
So the purpose of this, we had the ordinance committee review a couple of these items. This one came about, we had kind of in the ordinance, we had shall shut off. We do have kind of more of the option, and given the fact that we can, through state law, we can assess it to the taxes if it's not, it gives us more flexibility. There's some other clarification language, but that was the big reason for this change, this proposed change.
I guess one of the questions I have is that I did notice it definitely left a lot up to somebody's discretion. And I guess I'm a little concerned about that. Like, how do you decide? Is there going to be a checklist? Is it going to be based on income? How will you decide? It almost seems like a problem where you might be creating.
Well, I came up here to address Councilmember Grabowski's question. Councilmember Grabowski, I think you might be confused with the title of the ordinance. The reason it says Combined Water Supply and Sewage Disposal System is because of our bond covenants from past debt that we have. We operate the systems as separate systems. They're accounted for separately. They have different regulations, but if we're servicing our debt, we pledge to combine the revenues if needed to service the debt. So that's why that ordinance is titled that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay. I just didn't know it was combining the debt.
Yeah, in terms of shutting off, I'll just speak briefly about it. Utility Director McCool might be able to shed light on it, but we really haven't been shutting people off since COVID.
Right.
We just don't do it because it's confrontational, it's health and safety issues, it's our staff safety issues from time to time. So we send out past due notices. We are able to put past due notices or past due amounts on our taxes and collect them as a lien on the property. So we really don't have any issues with collecting those. But we wanted to reserve the right to shut somebody off. So I can envision a scenario where you have a very large water user, let's say, that for some reason isn't paying. That may be a scenario where we would want to, potentially shut them off. Even though we can put it on their taxes, that could potentially have cash flow implications, but we really haven't run into that. And the amount that we end up putting on taxes every year is rather small.
Does the city allow for somebody who's having financial problems, maybe they lost their job, to set up a repayment program of it?
Sure, we try to set up payment plans. We're flexible with that.
Because it also, the tenant, the city may require a security deposit.
So that's an entirely different issue. So just to elaborate on that a little bit, there's a state statute that says if a landlord who's renting their property complies with all of these steps, you cannot force them to have the water in their name. It has to go in the tenant's name. And the tenant, or and they're protected, so we can't lien the landlord's property if they comply with the provisions of the affidavit.
Right.
That's why we have a rather sizable deposit. So those situations are entirely different because we don't have a lien on the property, where our only protection is the deposit with the affidavit. So in those cases where a tenant's not paying and the water service is in their name, we'll draw down on that deposit. And to the point that we are exceeded that, we'll ask that to be replenished, or we may shut those individuals off. And again, that doesn't happen very often, but we don't have the luxury of placing that as a lien on the property for those properly affidavited rental properties.
Right. But how are you gonna determine if the city requires a security deposit for a tenant?
They have to fill out the paperwork and it has to be properly executed. That's the only way, that's only available to landlords who supply that affidavit.
So that's why it's being changed to may require.
Well, the may is citywide. So we have two different kind of
Yeah.
buckets here. We have single family owned houses where you and I live and we're not renting. We can lien the property if they don't pay their bill. So we send them past due notices. If their account is more than 6 months past due, we put it on the taxes as of the middle of May. But for the renters that have an affidavit protection, we can't put that property on the landlord.
Right.
We can't lien it. So our only protection for a renter that's not paying is that deposit that we require them to put down when they file the affidavit. So we can charge against that every month that they're not paying. When they get to the point where we've reached that limit of that deposit, then in order for us to not be at risk, we do have to shut them off, because otherwise they could keep racking up bills and we wouldn't be able to collect that.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
it does. I wish I would see it in writing.
Well, it is all in writing. It's in statute and it's in our water.
Okay, okay.
Ed, why do we wait 6 months? I mean, you must know by 3 months that they're not.
That's what the ordinance says, and it's worked well. I mean, I think 3 months is, you'd have a lot more things getting put on taxes for the lien, so,
Yeah.
that's what it's been. It's been there since I think I started. It's always been 6 months. That just has never
Okay.
changed.
I got a question on that. All multi-unit or multi-tenant buildings within the city must have a separately metered service for each tenant or unit within a separate shut-off for each unit accessible to the city from the outside of the building as applicable. The city may refuse to provide water service to any multi-unit or multi-tenant building that is not in compliance with this section. Are there any units in Manistee that this would affect that do not
I'm sure
have?
there are some that don't comply with that, but they haven't been an issue, and we're not necessarily gonna force existing units that are like that to incur a big plumbing bill, because it hasn't been an issue.
Because that's huge, yeah.
But for new units or units where it's becoming an issue, we have the authority to do that, not only in this ordinance, but also in our housing code ordinance as well. And we talked with Blake, the attorney, quite a bit about that, and he feels like we're covered. Jeff can elaborate on that a little bit more.
Yeah, I wanted to answer your question. There's definitely units in the city that comply and definitely older ones that do not. But in the most cases, our water department staff work with the landlords, and they're very workable in trying to get to that solution. And it's really the only control we have, because we don't want a duplex where one person pays, one person doesn't, and the only control we have is at the street and have to shut off both tenants. So having a valve outside the building is the reason why that happens. And then a lot of the landlords have also given us access in the building, and we can put a valve that's lockable only to the city. So we work well with that.
Okay, just so the existing ones don't incur a huge bill, because often it's it seems like some of our good landlords are the ones that are.
Yeah, and we haven't aggressively pushed that on the landlords unless issues arise and we start having a consistent issue. Then we talk with the landlords and try to work through a solution with them. But the ordinance gives us that power to do that.
And that they would kind of be grandfathered in maybe, or you'd work with them not to enforce it.
It's not grandfathered, but we work with them.
Work with them, okay.
So can I understand that this doesn't apply to multi-unit short-term rentals, correct? I mean, because it's possible.
It could.
It could, yeah.
I think it would apply the same
It
way.
would apply the same. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Please take roll.
Councilmember Raditz.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Lasky.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Keck.
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Ruzga.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Okay, I am going to switch back to do a resolution of thanks for Officer Shands. You need a water back there? That's good. Okay.
We need a motion and a second.
I'm sorry, we
That's
need a
okay.
motion for this resolution.
I would like to make that motion.
I'll second.
Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Raditz, the motion is to adopt a resolution of thanks and appreciation for the retiring officer David Shands II. Councilmember Raditz,
Yes, and thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith,
Absolutely.
Councilmember Lasky,
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan, Councilmember Keck,
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski,
Yes.
Councilmember Ruzga.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Resolution of thanks and appreciation, Officer David Shands II, whereas David Shands began his career as a police officer with the City of Manistee on January 8, 2001, and whereas during his tenure, David demonstrated a strong commitment to the Manistee community. He has represented the Manistee City Police Department and the Manistee Area Public Schools as a liaison officer and is 3-time life-saving award recipient. And whereas David demonstrated outstanding capabilities, initiative, and professionalism when assigned as detective to the State Sheriff Chief's Enforcement of Narcotics Team and served as evidence technician for the Manistee City Police Department. And whereas during his career as police officer with the City of Manistee, he has held various titles and certifications: LEIN, TAC, MITIN operator, LEIN, LASO, CJIS administration, drone pilot, and program manager, to name a few. And whereas David Shands will be best known and remembered for his great sense of humor and well respected for his in-depth knowledge of the law, and whereas David will remain a great friend to the employees of the City of Manistee. And whereas David has served the City of Manistee with respect, dedication, and excellence since January 2001, completing 24 years of service to the community, now therefore be it resolved that on behalf of the City of Manistee, City Council, City staff, and the citizens of this community, we give thanks and appreciation to Officer David Shands II for his long and loyal service to the community and congratulate him upon his retirement as of May 29th, 2025. Further say it, not this resolution.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Now you can join me.
Nice to see you in civilian clothes. That's okay.
It's good, killing me with the abbreviations on everything. Okay, consideration of ordinance 25-01 to amend chapter 1420 still sought. Where am I?
2505.
What did I say?
2501.
Sorry, 2501 to amend the chapter 4, you just wanted to hear me say this. Still DeRose Hale, single state construction code of the City of Manistee, Michigan codified ordinances. In May of 2021, the city identified the City of Manistee engineer as the enforcing agent of Appendix G, flood-resistant construction of the Michigan Building Code. Since that time, the city hired Jerry Blue as its city's full-time building office official. The building official reviews and approves building permits. As part of the building permit review process, he could check the floodplain map to ensure these regulations are enforced. The city participates in the National Flood Insurance Program and NFIP, which makes the flood insurance available in communities that agree to manage their floodplains. One of the requirements of the NFIP program is to identify an enforcement agent. This amending ordinance appoints the building official as a person enforcing the Michigan Building Code and thus the floodplain administrator. Once these changes are made, Eagle and FEMA will be notified. As an ordinance, 2 separate readings are required. If this ordinance is introduced at this time, it could be adopted into the regular meeting. At this time, council should take action to introduce ordinance 25-05, amending chapter 1420, still DeRose Hale single state construction code. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Raditz.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Lasky.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan. Councilmember Keck.
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Ruzga.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Consideration of ordinance 25-06 to amend Chapter 1060 Garbage and Rubbish Collection and Disposal of the City of Manistee, Michigan Codified Ordinances. As part of the recently approved contract with Republic Services, the city agreed to designate them as a sole waste hauler in the City of Manistee. This amending the ordinance would bring Chapter 1060 in line with the contract. The Council Ordinance Committee met on May 21st, 2025, reviewed and recommends the changes. As an ordinance, 2 separate readings are required. If this ordinance is introduced at this time, it could be adopted at the next regular meeting. At this time, council could take action to introduce ordinance 25-06, amending Chapter 1060 Garbage and Rubbish Collection and Disposal. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I will second that.
Any discussion?
Yeah, well, I've gotten a couple of letters from, one was from a blind guy who has to have his son come and take his bags out, and another one, a lady that lives in my district. And they asked me a lot of questions, and I think I'll give this letter just to you and see how you can answer it for them. What they want to know is the city receiving any grant money from the state for implementing a mandatory recycling in our city? And if so, how the grant money helps the residents offset the cost of recycling? So there's a lot of questions like that. And he wants to know if the taxpayers will see a refund for the investment the city makes on their behalf on the recycling and stuff like that. So I think you should, I'll give this to you.
Yeah, I can respond to that. But,
Yep.
yeah, the short answer, we haven't received any grant funding for recycling, but it does appear there's some programs we can sign up for getting information out to residents about recycling. And so we'll look to take advantage of that. But I can look into those other questions and respond directly.
Thank you.
Well, the other question, I think too, I've had questions that we're charging for the recycling, and we're entering this contract, but the actual tonnage of the garbage should hopefully go down if the recycling goes up. So, we're entering the 4-year contract right when we're starting the recycling. So, I don't know that they would remove our, we're agreeing to a tonnage. Could our prices, would they ever readjust them saying, wow, you're really doing great in this recycling, which they're charging, a monthly charge for, which we are charging. And so is there any adjustment in our contract with them?
So there are assumptions made about tonnage, and we'll have to see how much recycling we get and how much just refuse. And then there's different rates for how much each ton is to go to the recycling plant and to go to the landfill. So there's assumptions. We're going to see how it kind of shakes out, but I think they did a good job. I mean, we'll find out throughout the course of the year how much people are taking advantage of the recycling.
And the prices maybe could be adjusted then?
Right,
or
I would think the
tonnage?
next budget or prior, I guess if it's changing considerably from the assumption.
Good.
Okay, one more thing. What this lady did ask, Bill, I think is important, is she wants to know if we're gonna implement a fine on Little River for the disgusting blight they have created at the entrance to our downtown area. People get tickets for blight. Time to start with them, it's been 4 or 5 years now. So we need to start doing something.
I'm confused. This motion is for them just to be designated as the sole waste hauler, right?
This is
has
just
nothing
for
to do with recycling
the
or
ordinance,
blight.
yeah, this is just
It's
for.
an inappropriate conversation for this point.
Well, we're approving the contract.
Real good. Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Raditz.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Lasky.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Keck.
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Ruzga.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Consideration of entering into a 4-year installment purchase contract with Shelby Bank Truck and Trailer Specialties of Boyne Falls and D&K Truck Company to finance the previously approved purchase of a plow truck and related equipment. On December 3rd, 2024, council approved the purchase of a plow truck and related equipment in the amount of $254,707. When approved, it was anticipated that the financing arrangements would have to be made at a later date due to the long lead time. The truck chassis is now done, has been delivered to the city, and will be sent to the equipment uplifter once their schedule opens up. The city solicited financing bids for the chassis and equipment and needs to close on the financing to pay the vendors. At this time, council could take action to adopt a resolution to enter into a 4-year installment purchase contract with Shelby Bank Truck and Trailer Specialties of Boyne Falls, Inc. and D&K Truck Company in the amount of $200,000 to finance the purchase of a plow truck and related equipment, and further authorize the chief financial officer to execute any needed documents. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Raditz.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Lasky.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Keck.
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Rezga.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Consideration of applications to boards and commissions. The city clerk has taken action to advertise vacancies on the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority, Compensation Commission, Downtown Development Authority, Historic District Commission, Parks Commission, and Zoning Board of Appeals. Mayor and manager appointments require motion, second, and council voided support. Nominations for council appointments do not require a second. After all nominations are made, council votes on the nominees until one nominee receives the majority support. The following applications have been received: the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority, 2 vacancies, terms ending 6/30/28. The purpose: promote revitalization of the environmentally distressed and functionally obsolete areas. Mayor appointment: Kate Barrage, 140 Jefferson Street. The Downtown Development Authority, 2 vacancies, one interest member, term ending 6/30/29, and 1 resident member, term ending 6/30/29. Purpose: Central District and Tax Increment Finance Authority. Manager appointment: Bruce Allen, 774 Pine Street, is a resident member. Julia Cook, 421 Second Street, Vogue Theater board member. Jamil Alam, 8350 West Fairway Street, Onekama, Golden Stag. Historic District Commission, 1 vacancy, term ending 2/28/27. The purpose: historic preservation. City council appointment: Kate Barrage, 140 Jefferson Street. Parks Commission, 2 vacancies, terms ending 6/30/28. The purpose: advisory on the parks development, maintenance, improvements, and identifying, planning, implementing public and private beautification projects. Mayoral appointment: Linda Gamache Chick, 345 4th Avenue, Charlie Ludwig, 600 Broad Avenue, Tim O'Connor, 330 4th Avenue. At this time, the mayor, manager, and city council could take action to make appointments as noted. The Brownfield, I would like to appoint Kate Barrage to the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority, term ending 6/30/28. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion on this one?
I guess I'm just wondering if she's here and kind of wave her hand. Oh, hi. Thank you.
Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Raditz.
Barrage.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Barrage.
Councilmember Lasky.
Barrage.
Mayor Sullivan.
Barrage.
Councilmember Keck.
Barrage.
Councilmember Grabowski.
Barrage.
Councilmember Rezga.
Barrage.
That motion is approved.
Thank you. Now we have the DDA appointment, and that is a city manager appointment.
For the resident member, I'd like to appoint Bruce Allen.
Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Heather, please take roll.
Councilmember Raditz.
Allen.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Allen.
Councilmember Lasky.
Allen.
Mayor Sullivan.
Allen.
Councilmember Keck.
Allen.
Councilmember Grabowski.
Ellen.
Councilmember Rezga.
Alan.
Motion approved.
And your appointment for the interest member.
Throughout the year, the DDA chair and executive director approach potential new board members throughout the year. They've requested Jamil Alam, and I'd like to request the appointment of Jamil Alam for the interest member.
Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Raditz.
Alum.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Along.
Councilmember Lasky.
Alum.
Mayor Sullivan.
Alum.
Councilmember Keck.
Alam.
Councilmember Grabowski.
Alum.
Councilmember Rezga.
Alon.
That motion is approved.
Thank you. Is there a nomination for the historic district?
I'll nominate Kate Barrage, 140 Jefferson Street.
I'll second it.
Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Raditz.
Barrage.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Barrage.
Councilmember Lasky.
Barrage.
Mayor Sullivan.
Barrage.
Councilmember Keck.
Barrage.
Councilmember Grabowski.
Barrage.
Councilmember Rezga.
Barrage.
That nomination is approved.
Thank you. Parks Commission, I would like to appoint Charles Ludwig, 600 Broad Avenue, to the Parks Commission, term ending 6/30/28. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Raditz.
Ludwig?
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Ludwig.
Councilmember Lasky.
Ludwig.
Mayor Sullivan.
Ludwig.
Councilmember Keck.
Ludwig.
Councilmember Grabowski.
Ludwig.
Councilmember Ruzga.
Ludwig.
Motion's approved.
Thank you. I would also like to appoint Linda Gamashchik, 345 4th Avenue, to the Parks Commission term ending 6/30/28. Is there a motion?
Motion.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Raditz.
Gamashchik?
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Gamashchik.
Councilmember Lasky.
Gamashchik.
Mayor Sullivan.
Gamashchik.
Councilmember Keck.
Gamashchik.
Councilmember Grabowski.
Mashcheck.
Councilmember Ruzga. I'm getting tongue-tied. Motion approved.
Thank you. And that is it. We can keep Mr. O'Connor's application for the next meeting?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you. Okay, well, we have a report from the engineer of record, Mr. Sean Middleton. Spicy.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. I'm Sean Middleton with Spicer Group. Our office is at 302 River Street. We've got obviously our annual update as engineer of record. Lucas and I will be presenting tonight. I'm going to kind of quickly go over a little bit about Spicer Group and what our background is and how we work at our office in the city, and then turn it over to Lucas to kind of go through some of the projects we've been working on.
It's down.
Press the down arrow. Is it not working? The down arrow? Okay.
There it goes.
All right. If you're not aware, Spicer Group, we're a full-service engineering company. We do civil engineering, electrical, mechanical, architectural, planning, site work, and we basically do anything that a municipality needs. That's one of our main clients, is working for municipal groups, and we have offices all over. I'll talk about that in a minute, but we're full service, and if we can't provide a service, we typically will subcontract or partner with another company to fulfill that need. So getting to our office here in Manistee, we have 10 full-time employees working out of our office, one part-time employee, and then we're lucky to have 3 really talented interns this year working for us. You see them on the bottom there. A couple of our employees are here tonight. You'll be hearing from Lucas, but Pat is here. Pat Bentley, he heads up our survey group in the office in the room here, and then Annie Bentley is our project coordinator. She's involved in a lot of projects. I'm sure you guys at times have crossed paths. So we have this group. We've been growing steadily, but we need a lot of support. So our engineers and surveyors rely on our other parts of our company. You may not be aware, but we employ 325 people across the state of Michigan. We're bringing in 50 interns this year, so we're 375 in the summer. So we're not many people realize kind of the depth and breadth of our company. We have 10 offices in Michigan. You can see them on the map there, and we have 2 down in Georgia. Our office there on the right, just put it up there. We lease our office space. Now we're currently leasing the entire building. We've been slowly kind of leasing more and more of it. We've been renovating it internally. I think I've literally been involved with renovating that building since the day we moved in. So we continue to try and improve it. So some of the office support we have, again, we have that a lot of people that work in the company that will help support us. These are a couple of what we would call our quote-unquote frequent flyers. They spend a lot of time in Manistee, but they're not working out of the office. A lot of these people, the staff here in Manistee would recognize. Spicer Group as a whole has always been really big on community support. It's really no different out of our Manistee office. We do the best we can to support organizations, activities. Kind of varies year to year who we support, but in general, we try and make that commitment and quite frankly really enjoy it. And we do, we also volunteer for a lot of things. So I'm going to turn this over to Lucas. He's going to go through basically the project work we've done in the last year. give you a little sense of it. There's a lot of projects, so there'll probably be a little speed thing going on here, but at least you'll get a sense of it, and the thought is you can ask questions at the end of the presentation.
Good evening, Council. I'm Lucas Richardson, if you don't remember me. As Sean said, I'm going to be kind of breezing through some project highlights, so if I go too fast, tell me to slow down or we can come back to it. So just to start, yeah, these are the projects that Spicer Group has assisted with the city in the last year. Some of these projects are construction related, some planning, GIS, engineering services, grant application assistance, all that is kind of what we do for the city, and I want to kind of just emphasize some of the main things that we help the city with on this next slide here. Some of the grants that we go for really help on some of the large scale projects. Since we started in 2013, we've actually applied for almost $9 million in grant funds, and we've actually been successful in receiving just over $7 million in grant funds since we started. Most recently, if you haven't heard already, we did receive the RAP grant through the MEDC, which is just over $750,000 for rehabbing the west end of River Street and kind of revitalizing that space. We're more to come on that. We're kind of bare bones right now, but we're working towards implementing that hopefully in the next year. Other funding sources that we assist the city with are low interest loans. Some of these projects are just too large to capitally fund, and so we assist with trying to implement these low interest loans, like on the rural development project for the wastewater treatment plant expansion. Other ways we assist with funding some of these projects is leveraging insurance dollars or developer projects that also impact some of the city utilities and infrastructure. And here's just a map of all the construction projects that happened in 2024 and some of the projects that are happening in 2025. All the blue is what happened last year, and then 2025 is either completed already or ongoing or to be completed this year. So a lot, and all across the city. I'm sure everybody loves all the traffic cones and detour signs and all that stuff, but it's all good stuff. In 2024, we completed the Lincoln Street project. This project was a really nice improvement. This street was almost all cold patch. I'm sure we all know if you've drove down it before, and now it's a totally brand new street. Some new utilities underneath and new curbing on the whole stretch there. This project was funded by a Category B grant and city funds. The Category B grant was $250,000, which was roughly half of the whole project cost. 6th Street project also happened last year. This was a big road diet to accommodate some of the bus loop out of the new MAPS improvements there on site and helping some pedestrian safety and parking on street. The 8th Street project was pretty much all of 8th Street except for a section between Cherry and Tamarack. This was a microsurface, which is just a thin little slurry seal that protects the surface of the asphalt and gives it another 3 to 5 years of life. We also improved all the street name signage. This is the first project that had all the new logos on it. So we definitely got some feedback on them, both positive and negative, and we're trying to, I think Jeff's trying to implement these all the way across the city if we can. The 5th Avenue parking lot project also happened last year. This is a crush and shape of the parking lot. We added a sand barrier wall and then also repaved the street right in front of the Coast Guard. 1st and Maple Street intersection upgrades. This was a pedestrian safety project. Before it was a little dangerous for pedestrians to cross this road, a lot of blind spots and cars coming out into the intersection when they're stopping. So hopefully that doesn't happen, or at least we reduce the amount of accidents in this area from this project. Digester cover replacement, this was down at the wastewater treatment plant, an insurance claim for a failed cover. Sands Park sidewalk improvements, we built actually a brand new sidewalk down Robinson Street. There wasn't a sidewalk there before, hopefully allowing more pedestrian walkability to the new school improvements there, and also obviously the tennis courts are no longer there from this project as well. US 31 CIPP project, so CIPP is cured in place pipe. This was under US 31 between Monroe Street and Harrison Street, inside of sanitary sewer that was failing underneath the highway. So this was a project that the city rushed to try to get in place before the highway reconstruction project. First Street Relief Sewer. This is a small project that maybe not everybody knew happened down by the Armory. This project is kind of a result of some flooding that happened, I don't remember how long ago now, but over 5 years ago, we had some major rain events that caused some basement flooding, and this helps to provide a little bit of relief down there. Of course, the fire station improvements. I was actually pretty amazed when we saw this before and after. We haven't looked at the before and after picture before, but this was stripping all the old paint that was on the fire station and bringing the fire station back to its old natural brick facade. The Riverwalk EDA grant, this project's ongoing right now, replacing all the boardwalk from the Marina West, or I'm sorry, the Marina East, and then repainting the railings, the light fixtures, and some structural improvements as well. This one's not quite ongoing. I thought that it would be by now, but we got some bids back, and we're evaluating the bids from the contractors right now, and I believe those will be coming soon to council. But this project is half funded by a grant as well, $300,000 MDNR grant. Spruce Street water main improvements is almost done. This is the pretty much cliff up Spruce Street to 3rd Street. The water main had some bad failures a year or two ago, and the city's replaced that with some pipe that hopefully will last 50 to 100 years. And then upcoming projects, the old US 31 truck route rehab project is a mill and fill of the truck route from the intersection of 1st and US 31 all the way down to the Painted Lady at 8th Street. This will improve all of the truck signage on that whole corridor to hopefully alleviate some of the truck traffic that goes down some of the local streets. Obviously repaving all of the streets and then improving every single sidewalk ramp on that whole corridor, which I think it's over 15 intersections, which is going to be a big improvement there. This was a Category F grant, actually, that helped fund a portion of this, $375,000. And then we previously had this on the agenda, but Washington Street, we're going to hear back on Friday for the bids on that project, and later this summer should be under construction. And then finally, one of the big items that Spicer does for the city is maintains their GIS. So this is a feature that a lot of people don't really know the city has, because it's what the DPW workers and other city staff are using every single day on their iPads, on their laptops. The city actually owns over 125 layers, and what that means is it's data that is geospatially shown on a map at your fingertips. So rather than going down in an archive room or in a file cabinet, all of that information we have been trying to put on this online database, so that way for the next generation that doesn't have that institutional knowledge can go onto this map, see where all the utilities are, see all the records that the city has, and be extremely useful for forever. So with that, I'll take any questions. Sean, I guess, too.
Any questions?
I did see listed the land acquisition grant, so I believe that's Man-Made Lake.
Yeah.
Could I have an update on the progress of that?
So we're still waiting for the grant agreement. They said June or July we should be getting it. So I did actually email today to see if there's any update on it. Last year, our grant was delayed till November, I believe. So hopefully it's coming soon, but
Yeah, okay.
it's coming.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lucas. Thank you, Sean. DPW Director Jeff McClure.
So we've done everything that they said that they just did. I mean, we literally are working on those projects every day, every week of the year. What I'm going to do is just go over kind of what our daily and seasonal workloads include. And the City of Manistee Public Works includes the utilities, the water system, sanitary sewer, the storm system, the fleet, so all the vehicles and equipment. Our parks, we have 15 different parks in the community, refuse, which includes recycling and yard waste, our street network, and the city marina. So in addition to myself, we have a DPW clerk who also serves as our marina manager. And then in our marina, we hire up to 5 seasonal employees to run that facility. In the utilities, we have 9 full-time employees. The Parks Department has 3 full-time employees, and then we add 11 seasonal employees each year to help us. And in the street department, we've got 12 full-time employees. So this time of year, we're at our biggest, and it's about 42 employees right now. The administration, Katie handles most of these, but she answers the phones. They ring nonstop every day. Brandon Prince also helps out, but we get a lot of inquiries. The public calls in and wants information or schedules a brush pickup or a water concern or something like that. So a lot of information flows in and out through our office. We're involved or manage 17 different budgets within the community. We touch a lot of places. We have a lot of interaction and a lot of reporting to agencies like the state of Michigan, the Department of Transportation, Eagle, and others. Brandon Prince is our point person in the DPW for our C-Click Fix. So as people in the community see issues, we're able to be aware of those very quickly, and we try to respond to those as fast as we can. It's become a very helpful tool. Purchasing and planning, we spend a lot of money in those departments, and each each accounting period where they're gonna cut checks, there's probably 100 to 150 invoices that are generated through all our various departments and all the materials. We work with various developments. There's probably 8 different ones this year that we've been working on, some speculative, some are under construction, some are in planning, but there's a lot of coordination that goes into that. And then Spicer showed you just how much money or how much effort we put into trying to get grants and leveraging projects and improvements with our infrastructure through developments and different grants. So a lot of time is spent with that also. For the street department, some of the obvious things include winter maintenance, plowing snow, salt and sand, other road maintenance such as just street sweeping and cleaning catch basins and crack sealing and all of that type of activity. We've got over 75 sidewalks, and even though we keep talking about the ordinance says it's the residents' responsibility, we've got an active program, and we've been investing more each year trying to get rid of trip hazards by doing the sidewalk cutting. And then also we do removal and replacement where the cutting isn't an option for us. If you count up the parking lots, there's a tremendous amount of public parking lots in the community. So we're working to keep those clean, keep those updated, and trying to work hard to find outside and inside money to try to get some of those upgraded. Forestry work, there's a tremendous amount of trees in this community, and if you've been following the Parks or the Tree Commission, very, very active group. They've worked with the the county to receive a very large grant to inventory the trees within the community and also do some planning on maintenance and then future replacements. But we probably cut down 40 to 50 trees every year, late in the fall, early winter, that are just, they're just at that point, and then we probably trim twice as many of those. We've got contracts with the state of Michigan to do surface maintenance on US 31 and then also operate the Memorial Bridge. And then of course we operate Maple Street Bridge as a city-owned facility. And then festival support. There's a lot of festivals out there. There's big ones like the Forest Festival, Sleigh Bell, but then there's smaller ones, but there's probably 20 of them a year that rely on some help from our department. As mentioned, Lincoln Street and 6th Street were some of the new street projects that we did. We continued on with concrete work and the sidewalk program. In addition to the 1st and Maple Street signal upgrades that were completed this year, we also replaced and converted the signals at River and Maple Street to LEDs and upgraded the pedestrian signals there. May not notice that much, but we were having some issues with some of those burning out and some of them getting just a little dimmer, so we've upgraded those. Leaf haul doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but it's 6 to 8 weeks of time and a full-time crew that goes around the community to haul those. And then this year, with the help of the Tree Commission, we received Tree City USA, and that's the 14th year that we've been recognized for that, so that was pretty special. The picture on the right was a tree that we purchased and planted to recognize that Tree City USA designation, and we did that on Arbor Day. It was very nice that we had a good crew that came out to appreciate that. It was a little bit windy and cold, but the tree is doing good. And then just a picture of sidewalk replacement on the left. A couple pictures of the street work. I like to highlight this one each year because this is kind of something that we've done internally through education, through technology, through strategic purchases. But our winter ice control program has changed, and we used to do mostly sand with a little bit of salt in it, and we've gone to 100% salt unless the temperatures get below 10 degrees. We've got better equipment, we've calibrated it, we've got the guys trained on how much to put down. You don't need to put down too much salt, just enough to make it work. We've been able to reduce our salt consumption by up to 50% a year. We've reduced how much sand we buy on an annual basis by at least 95%. And so that relates to a $50,000, $60,000 savings every single year. And that's equivalent to a milling and filling, basically repaving a block in the community. So just some internal stuff that we've done to try to put that money to a better use. Our fleet program is something that I think the community probably overlooks or isn't aware of, but there's over 65 vehicles and pieces of equipment, and we have one mechanic. The other staff help him out whenever it's necessary, but he keeps them all running. He gets them repaired. Wintertime is a very stressful and hard on that equipment, but he keeps those things going. We've worked very closely with the finance director to schedule out future purchases and replacements on our motor pool. And so we can project out that when we buy a piece of equipment, we know in 14 years, we know in 18 years that's going to need to be replaced. And then each year we update that with what we project those costs are so that we can manage that internal fund. We've gotten very active with preventative maintenance to try to make the equipment and vehicles last longer. We've met all the purchasing challenges that COVID sent our way and with the manufacturing slowdowns, and I think we're pretty much caught up on that. One new thing that we did this year is old equipment, once we take it out of service, we used to collect it all and let it sit for 3-4 years, and we would bring in an auctioneer and get rid of it all at once. Now the industry has moved to online auctions, so that picture there is the new bucket truck. As soon as we get one more component for that and we retire the old piece of equipment, within 30 days we'll have that advertised online, and within 60 days it'll be sold, and the money from those proceeds go right back into the motor pool fund. So we've gotten a lot better at trying to retain the value out of that equipment and not let it sit, and also it doesn't take up the space. We also have a welder fabricator, and that picture on the left is the second fire pit that was built in-house. I've seen people down there and enjoying that. That's so much fun to add something that we could do internally. I won't even try to explain what's on the right-hand side, but that's catch and grit at the wastewater treatment plant. We've tried dumpsters, we've tried some commercial things, we just built our own. And so our fabricator, Tanner, on a weekly basis, one of the departments will come and say, I need this tool, can you build me one of these, can we do this in-house? So instead of paying somebody else to do it, we build it in-house. He's extremely talented and a good resource for the community. Oops. The Parks Department, like I mentioned, we've got over 15 city parks that we change the garbage cans every day. We mow them. We complete upgrades and repairs. It's a tremendous amount of real estate and items that we take care of. There are 9 public restrooms that get cleaned every day, 7 days a week during the summer, from Memorial Day through the end of October, and then 2 downtown that we keep open year-round. We had a great year with the ice rink this year. Mother Nature really cooperated, so the Sands Park ice rink got more usage than we've seen in a long time. And then we added a second synthetic rink down by the city marina, which seemed to get some good usage, especially during the Sleigh Bell weekend. We clean the beaches. This comes up, this is why I'm bringing it up. Each beach gets cleaned 2 times every single week. They get cleaned on different days, but we clean them twice a week. Volunteer support. We've seen I think as a community, we've seen a tail off of volunteer groups and organizations, but there are still a lot of very active people in this community that are secretly behind the scenes doing plantings and doing painting, and even the commissions, the tree commission, the parks commission, members of city council, everybody's really pitching in. So we do our best to work with them and help coordinate those projects and supply all the materials. We're still doing a lot of support with the DDA. You guys are familiar with that contract, but there's a lot of interaction, a lot of cleanup, setting out the flower boxes, hanging the flower baskets, fertilizing and watering those on a weekly basis. And then again, that festival support that I mentioned earlier. I won't steal Sammy's thunder, but we're pretty darn excited about this, so I had to put it on there. Oops. Last year, about a month from now, we had the Corps of Engineers do some dredging and impacted the net shed and portions of the Riverwalk. So we worked with the engineers and some contractors to renovate that, and there's still ongoing conversations on how we can kind of armor and stabilize that Riverwalk for the long term. Interaction with the Corps is going to be huge, and then funding is going to be the other big challenge that we have. I brought this up last year, but I think adding that third Parks Department person is really, I think it's very obvious to the community. I think you start to see we're doing some more staining and painting and cleaning up and more improvement projects that we just didn't have the capacity to do before. So I hope as time goes on, you'll continue to see those type of things. But my goal is always to get ahead of these before other people tell me about them. That's not always possible, but that's kind of the carrot we're always chasing. And so sometimes when we can get out and do these things and then people recognize that they're done and say thank you as opposed to why don't you do this, it's a better place for us to be in. Oops. Refuse. You guys are familiar with that we contract out our household waste. The recycling, the commingled is really used a lot. I mean, I'm very close in proximity to that, and I drive by it many times every day. And there's a car there almost every minute I drive by there every day of the week. So there's a lot of interest in recycling in the community. Late this winter, we added the PCA trailer to the Public Works yard. Community's been very supportive and very respectful and thankful for that. So that's been a good experience. Plus, our guys like the overtime that they got for it. And as you're aware, we're going to the curbside in July. And then every year we've picked out a community recycling event. That's something, kind of just for the city. This year we did paint. We did paint, I think 3-4 years ago, right after COVID. This year we actually increased the tonnage that we disposed of, and a lot of that paint actually gets reformulated and gets made into new paint. So great program. That's just a picture of some of the materials that were collected. Recycling is also compost. When we pick up your yard waste every Tuesday and we pick up your leaves every fall, that stuff is mixed. It's cooked aerobically out at our compost site. About 3 years of turning and decomposing it naturally. Then we screen it, and that picture on the right is fresh compost that's screened, and it comes all from your yard waste. There's a pile over off of Veterans Oak Grove where the commingled trailer sits right now. It's our cold storage area. That pile is available to every one of you to go use for your gardens, for your flower pots. If you drive in there, you'll see there's people shoveling in there all the time, but it's an easy way for us to give it back to the community. Utilities, I've asked James Riley, the water lead operator, and then Bruce Banks, the wastewater lead operator, to make presentations. I think they're coming next council meeting, something like that. So I'm not going to get into a lot of detail, but we pumped over 300 million gallons of water last year and treated over 375 million gallons of water throughout the year. You can just see from those numbers there's a tremendous amount of infrastructure under the ground that people don't see, but that's a whole nother separate presentation. And just a couple pictures of some of the repair work that we do in-house. And the last is the marina. The ADA ramp, I think, is going to be a very good amenity to the marina. It's right next to the boaters building. We've seen an increase in boater interest. They're coming here, they're staying longer, and the marina last year was profitable for the first time in a very long time. As the harbor master, we liaison with the Harbor Commission and keep them up to date on projects, and then I already mentioned the seasonal employees. And there's a picture of that switchback. It's very grand. If you look at it from the docks, looking back at to the south, it's pretty impressive. And with that, I would take any questions that you have and pray that I made it under 15 minutes.
You're close.
How have your seasonal
close.
hirings been?
They've been tremendous.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we probably 3 years ago, we were struggling to meet our totals. We've got a lot of kids that are coming back, and they're doing a good job. They enjoy the work. They appreciate that it's diverse on every day and that they get a 40-hour paycheck to go to college or do whatever their next step in life is. But we've been really fortunate, so we're full this year.
Good.
Jeff, what can we do with 15th and Greenbush? That water lays there for weeks and it's rotting out the asphalt.
15th and Greenwich?
Greenwich.
Okay, at that corner, we can take a look at that.
Right by the park, and that tree needs watering too.
Okay.
The bag is right on the ground. The Davies company cut all those trees and left all the wood along the streets. I think you guys might have picked up some on Maple, but on 12th Street, and then some of the side streets, they left that wood just laying there.
Well, unfortunately, my father started volunteering that I would pick the wood up personally from his neighbors, and I had to put a stop to that. But that's very common. They will brush up all the trimmings and the branches and stuff, but they usually leave the wood behind.
Yeah, a lot of neighbors have out of them.
And there's a lot in their backyards, I
Yeah.
saw, yeah.
I don't know what we can do, they're on private property. Then I see after our where we cleaned up the streets, but at the Armory, people got their Davenports out now and their mattresses again. I think on 2nd Street has a bunch. There's one on 12th Street, but they don't appreciate it.
Well, it's the first week of the month, so this is our bulky item pickup, so I've seen a lot of items out that
But
way.
they have a lot of it, not just one,
Yeah.
that they're supposed to pick up. So I wish they.
Use and abuse all the time.
Yeah.
I got a quick question. Were you
Sure.
able to get a hold of anybody at Manistee Catholic and see if we can reuse like those bleachers, stuff that's not going to get used in the play equipment?
I will contact them.
Okay.
I also wondered, and I don't know if who's responsible, but we still have school speed limit signs and kid crossing signs and stuff. Is that the state that will remove that, or will we get rid of that?
The state will do it on the highway.
Okay.
The stuff on 12th Street would be our responsibility.
Okay.
Yeah, we probably could take those down.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you're coming through town and not knowing that that school isn't there anymore, they're just curious, saw them there the other day.
Will you get that sign back up on 12th Street too? Some of the neighbors have asked about it. The guys have been doing pretty good, the police, where you stopping people. I don't know if they give them tickets or not, but they've been stopping a lot of them. But they need that speed sign up there.
Which speed sign?
Where?
The one that Josh has got.
You mean the one that tracks?
Currently under repair.
Oh,
So we need that back up there.
Anything else?
Good.
Thanks.
One more thing. The Parks Tour, the annual tour, bus tour is Monday at 6 o'clock, just outside of City Hall. We hope to see you on the tour, and thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Okay, consideration of a proclamation proclaiming First Street Beach the best beach in Michigan for 2025. USA Today's 10 Best Readers' Choice Awards has once again recognized First Street Beach as the best beach in Michigan for 2025, marking the second consecutive year that our community has earned this prestigious statewide honor. At this time, we can take action to proclaim First Street Beach the best beach in Michigan for 2025 and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign the proclamation. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? I would like to thank Sammy Lukaskevitz and her team at the Tourist Authority for spearheading this and all that you do to promote the beaches.
That was a really nice write-up, too.
Yes, it was.
Take a vote.
Do I have a proclamation to read? I don't have anything.
Do you want to take the vote, then I can give it to you?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Raditz?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
Yes.
Councilmember Lasky?
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan?
Yes.
Councilmember Keck?
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski?
Yes.
Councilmember Rezga?
Yes.
Motion approved. Do you want to read it? This is not the official one. I have one for us to sign to be framed. Okay.
Testing my reading skills tonight. Okay, celebrating First Street Beach, USA Today's 10 Best Beach in Michigan, 2 years in a row. Whereas the city of Manistee is blessed with natural beauty, rich history, and vibrant community that values its public spaces and waterfront amenities, and whereas First Street Beach has long been a treasured destination for residents and visitors alike, offering stunning views of Lake Michigan and family-friendly atmosphere, accessible amenities, and year-round recreation opportunities. And whereas USA Today's 10 Best Readers' Choice Awards has once again recognized First Street Beach as the best beach in Michigan for 2025, marking the second consecutive year that our community has earned this prestigious statewide honor. Whereas the repeated honor further establishes Manistee as the premier Great Lakes destination and contributes to the economic vitality, tourism, and pride of our reef. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Jermaine Sullivan, Mayor of the City of Manistee, on behalf of the City Council and all its citizens, do by here acknowledge and celebrate First Street Beach for being named USA Today's 10 Best Beach in Michigan for 2025 for the second year in a row. Be it further proclaimed that the City of Manistee encourages all the residents and visitors to take pride in this achievement, continue to support the preservation of our natural resources, and share in the joy of this exceptional honor. Resolved that I, Mayor Jermaine Sullivan, hereby proclaim First Street Beach the best beach in Michigan for 2025.
Sammy, come on. Or no?
No, I have that for her. citizens' comment. This is an opportunity for citizens in attendance to comment on municipal services, activities, or other areas of city involvement, limited to 5 minutes. Letters submitted to council will not be publicly read. Anybody, go ahead, please.
Hello, my name is Paul Batigi, and I am here in regards to a particular event coming up on the calendar of the Ramsdell Theater. I am a member of a group involving, I'm a member of a text messaging group that involves about 20 other individuals from around the city of Manistee and the surrounding townships in the county. And the event that I'm referring to is the event taking place Saturday evening at the Ramsdell. It's called the Moxie's Pride Celebration Drag Show. And the reason why I'm bringing this concern to you tonight is because as I was engaged in text message conversation and some phone calls today with the members of the group that I belong to, I feel that I'm representing a perspective that's widely shared throughout our community. And the reason why I believe that it's appropriate to bring the concern about this event to you is for two primary reasons. Number one, I did some digging today and consulted with some people in the know and understand that the city of Manistee provides the Ramsdell building to the Ramsdell Regional Center for the Arts, essentially free of charge. The city maintains that building, and the city provides some kind of operational budgeting for the operation of that building. So in that regard, the city's making a major contribution to what the Ramsdell Center for the Arts does throughout their programmatic season. The second reason why I feel it's appropriate to bring it to your attention is I did a little digging today on the City of Manistee's website, Clerk's Department, and codified ordinances. And in my opinion, there are city ordinances that pertain to this event coming up on Saturday night. And in my opinion, as I read these ordinances, I believe that event essentially violates those ordinances. And I'm going to refer to Chapter 662 of the city's ordinances titled Peace Disturbances, and 66201, section titled Offenses Relating to Public Peace and Morals, and Section B, Prohibited Acts. I'm going to refer to just two items in that section. Item number 2 says, no person shall engage in any indecent, insulting, immoral, or obscene conduct in any public place. And item number 4 says, no person shall make any immoral exhibition or indecent exposure of his or her person. And just for reference, this section also defines public place as follows. As used in this section, public place means any place of business or assembly open to or frequented by the public, and any other place which is open to public view or to which the public has access. So for those two reasons, the city's involvement in providing the venue for this event and the city's own ordinances, I'm speaking on behalf of myself and many other voices throughout our community and expressing my opinion that I think it's an improper event for the city to support, and it would be improper for you not to essentially uphold the ordinances that are on the books. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Do you? I'm sorry. No.
The fundraiser?
That was already in consent agenda.
It's on the consent agenda.
So it's approved.
That was approved on the
Yes.
consent agenda. Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
Mayor, I'm Sammy Lukaskevitz from Manistee Tourism. Just want to thank everybody for voting for Best Beach in Michigan. We went up against some really heavy hitters. So to be able to win for 2 years in a row really showcases how lovely our beaches are. So thank you to Public Works for maintaining them, and for City Council for supporting all of our parks and our beaches. And, you know, a lot of this, it's through USA Today, and it's a promotion. But if you build something that people want to visit, then you've built something where people want to live. And so thank you for the support. Thank you to everyone who voted and for keeping our beaches safe. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Hi, my name is Ted Ahrens. Worked a lot in the Veterans Park. I'd just like to say that I support Paul Badege in his statement. It's important that the people, the citizens, the leadership in this county provides the proper moral example for our youth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Good evening, Council. At the last meeting, I stated that I would read my proposal for a resolution that I hope you will support. This is a resolution in support of the rights of immigrants and refugees. Due to and as a consequence of the illegal, unconstitutional, unwarranted detainment, arrest, abuse, and extraction of immigrants and refugees issuing from the current administration, it has become warranted to stand up for and protect a specific class of people, that is to say, immigrants and refugees. And whereas we recognize the people of all backgrounds contribute to our city's democracy, culture, and economy, and whereas this country was conceived, founded, and built by refugees and immigrants, and whereas due to the nature of our current political moment and for the foreseeable future, immigrants and refugees will be in need of protection from unwarranted persecution and prosecution. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the City of Manistee affirms that Manistee is a welcoming community for all, and that all agencies, departments, and segments of our city respect all of our diverse community. The City of Manistee, along with all of its agencies, departments, and segments, will not take an active or supportive role in the indiscriminate, inhumane extraction from our community of any immigrant or refugee without first obtaining a criminal felony conviction. The city will advance the basic principles upon which the United States was founded, affirming the equality and dignity of all people, regardless of their immigration or refugee status. Secondly, at the last council meeting, a concerned citizen addressed council, continuing on for 6 minutes without being gavelled to his knees within 5 seconds of reaching the 5-minute allocated time, as I have been. At the 7-minute mark, this person was called back up by a council member to explain what that council person had personally done to address the person's complaint. The city manager also addressed the person's complaint. It seems that some are afforded more leeway and feedback than others. Does this depend on whether council agrees with the citizen's concern or whether you don't agree? I would also appreciate some feedback regarding my concerns. Please consider and offer feedback on my proposal for a resolution. You have my phone number and were asked to call me a month ago. I have yet to receive a call from any council member. Thank you. My name is Mike Herbert. I live in Manistee.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, Mr. Gamble?
Are we in the citizens' comment?
Yes, yes.
Rumor has it that the council or the city is going to require all properties to have water meters no matter how many units are in a particular building. I can see if you have a duplex, it's fairly easy to retrofit a duplex from 1 meter to 2, but I'm going to address a building we have at 100 Oak Street called the Arrowhead Apartments. That building was built in the 70s. It's on a slab, and it's brick construction. There's absolutely no way that you could conceivably remeter that to 8 units or to put 8 meters in that building. It's physically impossible and financially just cannot happen. So I think the council needs to look at that ordinance if that's going to be part of it and mandate and make it so that that you would in effect put us out of business if you decide to require that each unit in that building have a separate meter. And the other thing, I don't see how you're going to put meters on the outside of any building without having a freeze problem. So this is just a comment. But and one last thing, by the way, there was some a little bit of movement on Ramsdell Street that's cleaned up a little bit. Maple Street's another issue, and so is the public school over there at Maple. They finally cut the grass from the sidewalk to the road after I called Mr. Voss.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Gamble?
I appreciate the work that went into the engineer report and DPW. It was a busy year, so thank you for all your work. And then I would like to say we did receive that complaint about the drag show regarding a potential violation of city ordinance. We did have the attorney take a look at that, and the answer is it's not a violation of city ordinance. Of course, people are entitled to their opinion, but it's that is not. So, thank you.
Ms. Rosca?
I don't have anything. You covered it all.
I know it.
Mr. Grabowski?
We did it all.
Wow. Ms. Keck?
Thank you.
Ms. Raditz?
Just continue to be impressed how our local contractors and our city employees include young people in these wonderful jobs in our community. Very impressive.
Mr. Smith?
I have nothing.
Ms. Lasky?
Just one request. We're paying for that Granicus report, and I think we've only gotten one, even if it could just be included in the packet, but I'd like to know the numbers on the short and long-term rentals and, you know, just to get the information that we're paying for off that report. Then the other thing, there is a Kids Safety Day this coming Saturday, and it's a very fun, family, good event, and it's held at the Manistee Middle School, and Josh has said at 10 or 9 that it starts.
10 to 1.
10 to 1, and it's a great place to bring kids and a family, so try to get out for that. And then a good event is Sunday at 2 o'clock, and I believe it's the Army Band, and that's another free event at the Ramsdell. So there's a lot of, this weekend is good, free family fun in Manistee. That's it.
Okay. Consideration of a closed session, union contract negotiations. City Manager William Gamble has requested a closed session as permitted by Michigan Open Meetings Act, Section 8C, to discuss negotiations with the Internal Association of Firefighters. At this time, council will take action to proceed into closed sessions under Section 8C of the Michigan Open Meetings Act. Is there a motion?
I'll make
Make
that.
a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Heather, would you please take roll?
Councilmember Raditz.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Lasky.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Keck.
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Ruzga.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn, right?
You ready, Heather?
Okay, so we are back in open session at 9:03.
And take a motion to adjourn.
I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.
You ready, Heather?
Okay, so we are back in open session at 9:03.
And take a motion to adjourn.
I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Meeting adjourned.